Hello again, my name is Chris Trineri. I'm making a video game called FOLDY'S OS QUEST, and you can play the demo right now on Steam. This is a huge milestone in the game's journey to release, and I am so excited to share this little chunk of the game with so many of you for the first time. So I thought it was a good time to talk directly to you once again about what I've been up to since last time. It's been a long road to get here. I started this project about a year and a half ago now, and since announcing the game in March of this year, I've been working like crazy to build new levels, polish up existing ones, and gather as much player feedback as possible. I have playtested the first level of this game so many times it's not even funny. Immediately after the announcement, I loaded the game onto my Steam Deck and flew out to San Francisco to get some developer feedback at GDC. I got a lot of very reassuring first reactions and got to spend time with so many amazing game creators. It was a great time. On top of that, I even had my own booth at GCX this last July. Seeing so many people getting excited about the game face to face was super motivating, and I took lots of great notes that have helped me improve the game exponentially. Since I've been working on the game mostly by myself, it's interesting to look back and realize just how much tunnel vision you end up with as a solo developer. A lot of the notes I took didn't even come from suggestions players made directly. Most of them came simply from observing people of all skill levels playing through the stages and just seeing where they struggled the most. Here's a great example. Before GCX, if you encountered an enemy while you were rail riding, you were supposed to zip to it to take it out. Meaning, hold down the left trigger to lock on, and then once the reticle appears, double tap the jump button to zip to it. It's flashy, feels good to pull off, and keeps you moving forward. Cool, right? No. In practice, people were confused, and they were right to be. Almost every playtester would get stuck at that part, and I'd have to explain to them what they were supposed to do, even if the tutorial was still on screen. For many, it was just too many inputs to remember while moving quickly along the rails, and most of them either tried to jump on top of the enemies or spin to take them out. But the jump was extremely tricky to land properly, and the spin was disabled on rails because I thought it'd be strange for Foldy to be able to spin around while he was rail riding. Seeing so many playtesters hit that wall made me realize that in disabling the spin on rails, not only was I making the sequence unnecessarily complicated, but I was creating a disconnect between ground and rail combat. After all, if you learn at the start of the game that you can spin to take out enemies, why wouldn't you be able to do that to these ones too? So I added the ability to spin while on rails, I made the jump window more forgiving, and I left in the ability to zip while on the rails just for the small handful of players that might still attempt that. And you know what? Combat on rails feels so much better now because of it. It's these kinds of moments that prove to me again and again how crucial it is to get the game in front of fresh eyes as frequently as possible before release. If you're a solo dev, you can absolutely make your game exactly the way you want it to be with only yourself in mind, and it could still very well find an audience. But I went into this project fully intending for it to be a fun time for a broad range of people, so without learning firsthand how people engage with the game, a lot of frustrating sequences would have ended up slipping through the cracks. It's also just really special to see people connecting with the game and responding to it for the first time. Most everyone who tried the game at GCX was super into the aesthetic and character controls, which was a huge relief and helped reassure me that I was on the right track. There were even a handful of younger kids who stuck around at the booth for a long time to play every stage in the demo and collect every file, and I gotta say, watching them play made me happier than I can even put into words. Making games that inspire players like them to fall deeper in love with gaming is the reason I became a game designer in the first place, so it was literally like seeing my dream come true right before my eyes. So I'd like to extend a huge, sincere thank you to everyone who tried the game at GDC and GCX. You've inspired me to keep charging full steam ahead, and the game is far better for your contributions. Also, real quick, I need to be on the record saying this. Yes, there is a Clippy type character in the game. Lots of people at the booth had some fond memories to share of Windows 95 and XP and asked if they could expect references to certain software, but nothing got asked about as much as Clippy did. I think almost every single person I met that was in their 20s or over asked me about Clippy. So don't worry, if you're expecting Clippy, you won't be disappointed. To be clear, for legal reasons, he's not Clippy, but you won't be disappointed. In addition to ironing out some kinks in the design, I've also been putting a lot of effort into polishing up the core gameplay. Most of that is fixing the many bugs that crop up in a game like this, but I've also been throwing in some little touches to make simple actions feel more satisfying. I added some little electrical sparks when you're riding on a cable, I made buttons sink a little deeper into the ground when you stomp on them, and I even added rumble to certain actions to give some extra feedback. There's also been no shortage of new content added either. I've been building new levels, adding in new features and quality of life improvements, and trying all around to make the game feel more like a complete experience. It's still a long way away from being a final product, but with the determination I gained from events like GCX, and a bit of help here and there from some awesome contributors, I can feel the game getting closer and closer to the finish line every day. I want to take this moment specifically to shout out Flowerhead. Flowerhead is a composer on YouTube that is criminally underrated, not just because of the quality of their work, but because of what they're providing for the indie game community. They have a project called Somewhat Good, and it's basically a huge library of royalty-free music composed by Flowerhead himself for indie devs and other creators to use in their projects. First of all, the name Somewhat Good is underselling his talent because I think the music is fantastic. But the fact that they're willing to put their time and effort into composing these tracks, only to offer them up to devs like me completely free of charge, is extraordinarily generous. I've already used a few tracks from Somewhat Good for a handful of levels and in the latest trailer, and I feel like they fit perfectly and add so much life and energy into the game. Please go check them out and support their work, and Flowerhead, if you're watching this, I can't thank you enough. So, the demo is out now, and I was fortunate enough to be offered a spot in the 6-1 Indie Steam Showcase, alongside several other really promising titles. It's admittedly a little nerve-wracking to open the floodgates to anyone and everyone on the internet, and I'm sure the game isn't going to be for everyone because no game can be. Nonetheless though, I'm looking forward to hearing about people's experiences with the demo and continuing to use their feedback to make the final game better, and I hope you're looking forward to playing it. The demo includes the first level, XD Hills, as well as a secret unlockable bonus level, time trial mode, and access to the first of several unlockable abilities, the Dive. I'm hoping that this little taste of the game's progression will entice casuals and completionists alike to come back for more once the full game launches. And on that subject, when is the full game launching? Well, I'm not quite ready to say yet. I've still got a lot of work left to do, and scope creep is a hell of a drug, but rest assured, I'm locked in and will continue working to make this game the best it can be for all of you. I want this game to be finished and in your hands more than anyone, but I can't do that until I'm sure it's ready, so I hope you enjoy the demo in the meantime. I'll also be bringing the game to more in-person events in the lead up to launch, so definitely keep an eye out for those. If you want to stay up to date with what's going on with Foldy, be sure to subscribe here and follow us on social media. I mainly post on Blue Sky, but I've recently started a couple new accounts on other platforms, and we'll be trying to share more stuff there too. But above everything else, please be sure to wishlist us on Steam. Wishlisting is unbelievably valuable for a small game like ours, and it's quick, easy, and free to do. So if you haven't already, hitting that little checkbox would mean the world to me. With all that said, thank you for your support, enjoy the demo, and I look forward to updating you all again soon.